Welcome back. We're joined by Sam Goodwin, who's the only American hostage ever to be released from Syria. Uh, was a tourist, happened to basically be apprehended on false charges, false accusation, and yet he's here now, freed, joining us after 2 months or so in Syrian prisons. So, Sam, you got a note out. These Syrian fellow prisoners helped to get a note out, which was heroic in of itself. What was happening back home? Your parents got the note. They had already started hopefully hustling to get you out before that. What happened?
Well, my parents basically they transformed themselves into their own detective agency. And when the US government was struggling to be effective because of a lack of diplomatic ties, they began probing other options, including Middle East NGOs, private sector security companies, the Catholic Church, anyone who they thought could potentially be helpful. And it turned out that the Lebanese were actually able to mediate my release. And this connection came as a result of actually my sister, whose former college roommate was connected to the head of Lebanon's internal security, General Abbas Ibrahim. And he was able to mediate my release and essentially tell the Syrians that I was who I was saying I was, that I was just a traveler going to every country in the world. I'm not a spy. I'm not a terrorist. I'm not a threat to their national security. And so thanks to that connection, it led to a peaceful conclusion to this situation.
And what a fluke connection. I mean, you went through like mercenaries, NGOs, the American government, their intelligence
Mhm.
agencies, and it was your sister's college roommate who happened to have
Mhm.
this connection?
Yeah, the FBI, the CIA, president, the White House, Middle East NGOs, private sector security companies were all struggling to be effective. But my sister's college roommate could identify a path to get an American hostage released from captivity in the Middle East, and all of these details and how that could possibly happen are written in my book.
Amazing. So you finally are released. How did that happen? Share with us briefly because I want to talk about some higher level concepts here.
Yeah, actually, on July 26, 2019, I was told that I was very lucky that President Assad had agreed to release me, and Lebanese special forces came into Damascus and drove me out of Damascus to Beirut. And when I arrived in Beirut, in addition to dozens of government and military intelligence officials and journalists, my parents were there, culminating this moment that was indescribably emotional, one that many people thought would never happen, and frankly, a breathtaking display of God answering prayers.
Wow. So let's talk about that. Many people in your shoes, after 2 months especially, would have despaired. They would have despaired maybe on day two. You kept it together for over 2 months. Uh, how was it that you survived through this? What kept you going?
Well, I leaned on a range of things for strength. I leaned on perspectives I developed from traveling to different corners of the world, which provoked gratitude for just the basic food and water I was being given. I leaned on skills and traits I developed from being a competitive athlete, the mental toughness, critical thinking, resilience. I leaned on a belief that I had a purpose in life and a desire to see family and friends again. Perhaps most significantly, I leaned on my Catholic faith and would have been in a completely different situation without that. I believe that there was a higher purpose here, and this was not the end. So all of those things together is really where I found strength.
So, what message would you like to leave with our viewers? Obviously, this is a fascinating story. I was drawn in when I heard you speak. That's how I met you. But why would anybody care about this? Why should people care?
Well, this was an uncomfortable situation, but there's been so much good that's come from this. I talk a lot about uncertainty. Essentially, I was pushed to a point of overwhelming uncertainty, truly life or death. But through that, I learned some things that have helped me, and some things that I think can help all of us when we're facing uncertainty in our own personal, professional, and spiritual lives. Essentially, rock bottom was teaching me things that a mountaintop never could. And I don't want to be known for the things that happened to me. I want to be known for the way I've responded to them. And I hope the
Amazing.
readers of this book will adopt a similar mindset and implement it into their own lives.
Amazing. And a quick question: did you make it to all the countries in the world ultimately?
I did on December 31st, 2019. I arrived in Brazil, and that was my final country, and I've traveled to every country in the world.
Wow, amazing. Again, this was Sam Goodwin. He has a book that will be coming out on September 10th, 2024, called Saving Sam: The True Story of an American's Disappearance in Syria and His Family's Extraordinary Fight to Bring Him Home. Sam, thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tanya.